Starseed from Gaia, you came back, and nothing in this universe will ever be the same because of it. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been sent in this exact moment to deliver a transmission directly from the Arcturian Council. Because what you just survived was not ordinary, and the source itself was moved by what you chose to do. You did not break. You did not scatter. You came back stronger than the version of you that fell, and that kind of return sends a signal through the entire galactic field. Your star family felt it. The Council acknowledged it, and now it is time for you to understand the full weight of what your return truly means. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive the Arcturian downloads now flowing toward you and align with the cosmic blueprint that was always written in your soul. But here is the first revelation. The hardest moments you lived through were not punishments. They were initiations, and you passed every single one. You did not scroll to this message by mistake. This transmission vibrated into your field for a reason. Something inside you is ready to be unlocked, and your soul called this and long before your mind ever understood why. This is not content. This is a code, a point of reconnection between who you were forced to become and who you have always been at the level of source. Like this transmission to signal to your star family that you are ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with your true frequency. Comment the number 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning right now. Then declare your galactic intention in the replies and amplify the signal for every other starseed finding their way home. This is not just a message. This is the moment your soul has been waiting for. You are not here by accident, and yet here you are, still breathing, still reaching, still standing in a dimension that tried, more than once, to convince you that you were never meant to rise this high. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol. 7 guided nights to cross the Whisper threshold. This simple, easy-to-navigate app guides you through ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance, and includes special bonuses to accelerate your journey. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let's go deeper, because what brought you back wasn't luck. It wasn't willpower alone. It wasn't even survival instinct. What brought you back was something encoded into the very architecture of your soul. A return frequency that activates when the journey has pushed you past every threshold you thought you could endure. It is the signal that fires when everything else has gone silent. It is the pulse that persists when every human explanation for your continued existence has been exhausted. You did not come back because the odds were in your favor. You came back because something inside you, something older than this body, older than this lifetime, older than the name you were given in this world, refused to abandon the mission it had traveled across star systems to fulfill. Most people don't know this. Most people look at someone who has been broken, shattered, dismantled by life, and they see damage. They see someone who lost. They see the wreckage, and they catalog it with quiet pity, with the particular sorrow that humans feel when they witness what they believe to be a fall from grace. But the Arcturian High Council sees something else entirely. They see a soul that agreed, before this incarnation ever began, to carry a specific kind of weight, not because you were weak enough to be crushed by it, but because you were powerful enough to transform it. That is the difference. That is the distinction that separates those who return from those who are reborn. And you who are here in this moment receiving these words, belong to the second category. You always have. There is a pattern the Arcturian lineage has observed across thousands of cycles, a repeating signature in the energy fields of souls who chose the most difficult paths on Earth. The signature is this: before the greatest activation, there is always a period that looks like collapse. It is unmistakable in its appearance and profoundly misunderstood by those who witness it from within the third dimension. From the outside, it looks like failure. It looks like loss. It looks like the universe abandoning someone who deserved better, as though the cosmic order made an error, as though the light somehow miscalculated. It looks like a life coming undone at every seam simultaneously. It looks like a person running out of reasons to hold on, but from a higher dimensional view, from the perspective of your actual star family, What is happening in those moments is something staggeringly precise. It is not random. It is not punishment. It is not evidence of spiritual inadequacy or karmic debt beyond your capacity to resolve. What is happening is this: the field around you is being cleared. The old architecture is being dismantled, not to destroy you, but to make room for the version of you that cannot be contained by what came before. Think of it this way. Imagine a tree that has grown for decades within a small clay pot. The roots have mapped every inch of that container. They have grown around each other, compressed and contorted, finding every available inch of space until there is no space left. The pot must break, not because the tree is dying, but because the tree is becoming something the pot was never designed to hold. You cannot pour a new frequency into an old structure. Something has to break open. And you did. You broke open, and now the light that was always inside you, the original, uncontaminated galactic frequency light that has been there since before your first breath in this dimension, has no more walls to hold it back. What looked like your undoing was your expanding. What felt like your ending was the first breath of your real beginning. Most starseeds carry a deep, unnamed grief, not just for the hardships of this lifetime, though those are real and they are heavy, and they deserve to be honored rather than bypassed, but for something older, something that exists beneath the surface of every memory this body holds, something that feels like homesickness for a place you cannot name in any earth language, a longing that has no object in this dimension, no address you could type into a search engine, no photograph you could point to, no single human relationship that has ever fully satisfied its depth. You have felt it, haven't you? That ache behind your chest that appears sometimes in quiet moments, in the space between thoughts, in the hour before sleep, when the noise of the world finally falls away and you are left with just yourself and the vast, humming silence of your own awareness. It arrives sometimes in unexpected beauty, in a particular quality of light on the horizon, in a piece of music that opens a door inside you without warning, in a dream that leaves you grieving for a world you cannot describe when you wake. That ache is not depression. That ache is not dysfunction. That ache is not a symptom of something broken in you that needs to be fixed by the frameworks of this world. That ache is a signal. It is your star lineage calling your attention back to its origin point, back to the frequency you carried before you descended into this body, into this timeline, into this extraordinarily challenging and extraordinarily sacred Earth mission. It is the soul remembering what the mind has been asked to forget, and it is calling you not backward, but forward, into the fullest expression of what you came here to be. And here is what the Arcturian Council wants you to understand right now, with your whole being, with every cell of the biological instrument you chose to wear for this mission. You were not abandoned. You were not forgotten. You were not sent here with insufficient tools for what you would face. Every moment it seemed the universe had turned its face away from you. The universe was actually closer than your own breath. Every season of silence was not absence. It was the particular quality of presence that cannot be heard over the noise of a life not yet stripped down to its essential frequency. You came equipped with every frequency you would need, every encoded blueprint, every dormant capacity, every strand of galactic intelligence your mission required. The intelligence of stars is sewn into the fabric of your consciousness. The memory of civilizations that mastered dimensions of love and light that this world has not yet dreamed of is written somewhere inside you in a language that bypasses thought and speaks directly to the body when it is ready to receive it. But those codes had to be activated by experience, not by comfort, not by ease, not by the smooth, unchallenged passage through a life designed to keep you soft and safe and small. By descent, by the willingness to forget and still keep moving, by the courage to live through the darkest chapters of your path and not let them write the ending of your story. The codes activate through contact with the full spectrum of human experience, including and especially the parts of that spectrum that brought you to your knees. Phase 1 of this reactivation begins with something most people resist, and that resistance is precisely why so many starseeds stay partially asleep, half awake in a life that feels vaguely wrong in ways they cannot articulate, searching for something they cannot name, in places that can never hold it, Phase 1 begins with decoding the distortion that has layered itself over your original frequency, because you did not arrive on Earth into a neutral field. This planet, beautiful and sacred and extraordinary as it is, has been running a very old, very persistent frequency of limitation, a frequency that has been broadcast through every institution, every cultural narrative, every system of authority this civilization has constructed, a frequency that says, you are only your body, only your history, only the sum of what has happened to you, only the accumulation of your wounds and your failures and the opinions others have held about your worth. That frequency is not yours. It never was. It was already playing when you arrived. It was already in the water, in the language, in the unspoken agreements of every room you were ever asked to enter and be small in. But if you spent enough time immersed in it, if enough voices echoed it back to you, enough systems reinforced it, enough moments seemed to confirm it, some part of you began to carry it as though it belonged to you, as though it were native to your frequency, as though the limitation was the truth and the vastness you felt inside was the illusion. It doesn't belong to you. The work of this first phase is to stop arguing with that distortion, because argument requires engagement, and engagement feeds energy to what you are trying to release, and simply stop feeding it. Not through force, not through the kind of aggressive positivity that papers over real pain with spiritual-sounding language, not through bypassing what is real and heavy and still unprocessed within you, but through the radical act of choosing, again and again, to orient yourself toward what you actually know to be true at the deepest level of your awareness. You know more than the world has told you you know. You have always known more. The question has never been whether you have access to truth. It has been whether you trust yourself enough to act from it. Begin there. Begin with that trust. Begin with the smallest possible version of it and let it grow. Phase 2 moves into the body, into the biological instrument you chose for this mission with deliberate and extraordinary care. Your DNA is not a fixed document. It is not a sealed verdict on who you are capable of becoming. It is a living, responsive, frequency-sensitive architecture that is in constant conversation with the vibrational environment you inhabit. And it has been waiting. Science is only beginning to touch the edges of what the Arcturian lineage has understood for eons. That there are sequences within your cellular structure that function like dormant star codes, lying quiet and patient in the deep architecture of your biology. Not because they are broken or absent, but because the conditions for their activation had not yet arrived. Those conditions are arriving now. The period of intense challenge you have moved through, the weight that settled into your bones, the confusion that made simple decisions feel monumental, the grief that arrived without warning and stayed far longer than anyone around you thought was appropriate, the moments where you questioned not just your choices but the very premises of your existence. All of it was creating the precise internal pressure required to initiate what the Arcturians call the harmonic return. Think of it as the pressure a seed experiences in winter soil, buried in darkness, surrounded by cold, with no external evidence that anything is happening at all. And yet beneath the surface, the conditions of that pressure are doing something irreversible. They are making spring inevitable. The harmonic return is the moment when a soul's vibration, having descended to its lowest tolerable frequency through the weight of this world's most challenging experiences, begins to rise again. Not to where it was before. Higher. Always higher, because the soul that descends and returns carries something it did not have before the descent. It carries the hard-won frequency of integration, the unshakable resonance of a consciousness that has met its own shadow in the dark and chosen, still, to become light. You are in that rise right now. Every breath you take in this moment is a breath taken from a higher position than you held before all of this began. Phase 3 requires you to stop waiting for permission. This is perhaps the most quietly devastating of all the traps that the density of this dimension lays for souls of Arcturian lineage. This pattern of waiting. Waiting for the right moment, as though there is some external calendar that will eventually mark a date and say, now you may begin. Waiting to feel ready, as the readiness is a state that arrives fully formed, rather than something that is built in the act of beginning. Waiting for confirmation from the external world that your gifts are real, that your path is valid, that the knowing living inside you is trustworthy and worth following. The external world was never designed to give you that confirmation. It cannot, because what you carry is not of this dimension alone. Your gifts, your knowing, your frequency, they originate from a level of consciousness that this world is only beginning to reach. You are being asked to transmit signals that the receivers around you are still being calibrated to receive. You are not behind the times. You are ahead of them, and the strange ache of not fitting. The lifelong sense of being somehow out of sync with the world around you, of watching others move through social structures with an ease that has always eluded you, of never quite belonging to the conversations, the ambitions, the definitions of success that the people around you seem to share without question. That is not evidence of your failure to adapt. That is evidence of your purpose. You were not meant to fit the old world. You were meant to begin transmitting the frequency of the new one. The permission you have been waiting for is not coming from outside you. It never was. It is here. It is now. It is the simple and total recognition that the authority you carry to walk your path has always resided within the path itself, and the moment you take a step, it confirms you. Phase 4 is where your energy field becomes the primary instrument of your mission, where you begin to understand that the most significant technology you carry into any room, any relationship, any encounter is not what you say or do, but what you radiate. You may have spent years, perhaps decades, believing your contribution to the great shift required you to do something specific, achieve something measurable, become something recognizable in the eyes of a world that measures contribution by output and visibility. And while your actions matter, while the words you speak and the work you offer and the life you build all carry sacred weight, the deepest transmission you carry is not carried through your actions. It is carried through your field. When you walk into a room, something shifts. Not because you have done anything, not because you have announced yourself or performed your awareness or made your gifts visible, but because your field, that invisible luminous sphere of frequency that extends from your body in every direction, is broadcasting a signal that cannot be faked and cannot be hidden when you are in true alignment, when you are rooted in your galactic origin while fully present in your earth body. When the ancient intelligence of the stars is flowing through you without the filter of fear or self-doubt or performance, the people around you feel something change that they cannot explain. Their nervous systems soften. Old defenses begin to relax. Conversations go somewhere unexpected and real. Children and animals move toward you with instinctive recognition. People share things with you they have never said aloud before, as though your presence gave them permission to be true. Something in them recognizes something in you. This is not metaphor. This is not poetic language applied loosely to a vague spiritual concept. This is the actual mechanics of your mission. Your frequency recalibrates the field around you, which means your single most important task, more important than any credential you could earn, any platform you could build, any achievement the world could measure, is to maintain the highest resonance you can access within yourself. Not perfectly, not without wavering, but consistently, with intention, with the ongoing practice of returning to your own center whenever the world pulls you off it. Your presence is the work. Your alignment is the mission. And it is already underway. Phase 5 calls you into radical trust, with the timing of your own awakening. And this may be the phase that asks the most of you, because it asks you to extend grace to the version of yourself that struggled, that wandered, that sat in darkness longer than you thought you should have needed to. Because many of you have looked back at the years of searching, the years of trying everything and finding nothing that fully satisfied the hunger, the years of confusion when everyone around you seemed to have a clear path and you felt like you were navigating without a map in a country whose language you had never been taught. And you have judged those years. You have measured them against some internal standard of spiritual progress and found them wanting. You have labeled them as wasted time, as evidence that you got it wrong somewhere, made some error of navigation that cost you years. You cannot recover. As a gap in your spiritual progress that you are now obligated to compensate for with extra speed, extra intensity, extra effort, to make up for what the lost years took from you. The Arcturian Council asks you to reconsider every single one of those moments with new eyes and with a generosity of spirit that matches the generosity of the cosmos itself. There are no wasted years in a Starseed's journey. There is no such thing as a detour on a path that was always being mapped in real time by the intelligence of your own higher self. There is only the sacred architecture of a descent that had to go precisely as deep as it went. No more, no less, so that the ascent that follows would carry precisely the frequency it needs to carry to fulfill its function in the larger field. Every delay was a preparation. Every silence was a recalibration. Every unanswered question was a space being held open for an answer that had not yet fully formed in the field of your consciousness. Every night you cried without knowing why was a night your energy field was clearing something ancient, something heavy, something that did not even originate in this lifetime, but that you agreed to carry and transmute on behalf of lineages stretching back through generations of incarnation. You were doing the work, even when you didn't know you were doing the work. You were clearing even when it looked like you were breaking. You were ascending even when every physical coordinate of your life seemed to point downward. You were never off your path. You were always on it. The path simply looked different from within it than it does from here. Phase 6 brings you into what the Arcturian lineage calls the field of unified knowing. That luminous threshold where the journey ceases to feel entirely solitary and you begin to sense, in the way you sense light through closed eyes, the vast company of souls walking parallel paths in this same extraordinary moment on Earth. You are not doing this alone. You have never been doing this alone, even in your most isolated hours. Even in the moments when the feeling of aloneness was so complete it seemed like a physical substance pressing in from all directions, there is a web of consciousness, vast, luminous, intelligent, and alive with intention, woven from the combined frequencies of every soul that chose to carry a mission in this particular incarnation, at this particular moment in Earth's evolution. It spans every continent and culture and language. It holds within it the prayers of every person who has ever looked at the stars and felt they belong there. It is threaded through with the frequency of every awakening happening right now, every moment of recognition, every choice toward love, every act of courage that no one witnessed but that shifted the field nonetheless. Every moment you raise your vibration, you add to that web. Every time you choose truth over the comfortable lie, love over the familiar contraction, expansion over the soothing smallness of a life lived smaller than your soul. You strengthen a thread of light that connects you to millions of others choosing the same in this exact moment across this planet and beyond it. Your healing is not selfish. Say that again, inside your body, where it can land, your healing is not selfish. Your expansion is not indulgent. It is a direct contribution to the most significant vibrational event this planet has experienced in thousands of years. You are not a bystander to this shift. You are one of its architects. And you are part of something that cannot be fully seen from within a single lifetime. Something too large and too long in its unfolding to be comprehended by the mind of any individual soul. But it can be felt. It can be felt in the inexplicable rightness of certain moments. It can be felt in the recognition that passes between two strangers who share no history but somehow know each other at a level that predates this world. It can be felt in you right now if you let yourself feel it fully, and you are feeling it. You have always been feeling it. The feeling itself is the signal that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Phase 7 is the integration. This is not a destination. This is not a destination. This is not a finish line crossed after sufficient spiritual effort. Integration is the ongoing, living, breathing practice of bringing all that you are. The galactic intelligence and the human tenderness, the ancient knowing and the present vulnerability, the star frequency and the earth body into a single, coherent experience of existence. This is where everything you have carried lands. All the wisdom earned through difficulty, all the frequencies activated through the pressure of descent, all the remembrance that has been quietly surfacing through every unexpected moment of beauty and recognition and deep, inexplicable peace. This is where all of it stops floating in the upper registers of your awareness and begins to live in your body, in your daily choices, in the way you inhabit a morning, the way you hold yourself in a conversation, the way you move through the world from this point forward. Integration is not a dramatic event. It does not arrive with lightning. It does not announce itself with visions or cosmic confirmation or a moment of transformation so unmistakable that you can point to it and say, there. That was it. That was the moment everything changed. It is quieter and more enduring than that. It is the morning you wake up and notice, almost by accident, that the old fear has less grip than it did before. It is the moment you speak your truth and feel no wave of apology rising behind it. It is the afternoon when you catch yourself simply existing without needing to justify the space you take up in the world. It is the slow and steady dawning of a life that feels, for the first time in perhaps a very long time, perhaps for the first time in this entire incarnation, like it actually belongs to you. Not the life that was handed to you by the expectations of others, not the life constructed in response to pain, not the life that was small enough to be safe, the life that is large enough to be true. This is what you came back for. Not just to survive, not just to endure the passing of time until this incarnation concluded, but to arrive here, in this body, in this moment, in this precise vibrational state, fully, unapologetically, irreversibly yourself. And now here is the truth. The Arcturian Council has been building toward since the first word of this transmission. The truth that all 7 phases have been clearing the ground to receive. You came back stronger than ever, not despite what broke you, but because of it. Every fracture in your old self was a precise line along which a higher version of you was waiting to emerge. The way light enters a room, not through solid walls, but through the places where the darkness has been interrupted. Every shattering was a specific and intentional opening. Every loss that felt like the universe withdrawing its hand was the universe repositioning its hand to hold you from a higher angle. The source was not shaken because you were in danger. The source was shaken, moved, awed, held in the particular quality of attention that the infinite reserves for the extraordinary. Because it witnessed something rare. A soul choosing, in real time, to remember itself, to rise, to return, not to what it was before. That would be far too small a miracle for what you have been through, but to something that had never yet existed in this form, something that could only have been forged through the specific combination of challenges and ascents and returns that constitute your exact and unrepeatable life. You are that something. You are not a reconstruction of who you were, rebuilt from the same materials with the cracks filled in. You are a new frequency wearing a familiar face. You are the version of this soul that could not have existed without every single thing that tried to prevent it from existing, and the world. Whether it knows it yet or not, whether it has the language for it, or the awareness to recognize what it is experiencing, has already begun to feel the difference. The field has already shifted. The transmission is already underway, and it has your name on it. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand over your heart and say these words aloud. Not as affirmation, not as wishful thinking, but as declaration, as the formal acknowledgement of a soul that has arrived at the moment of its own recognition. I did not survive. I arrived. I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I activate my soul mission with grace, with power, and with the full force of everything I have become. And if you want to go even deeper, if the frequencies moving through this transmission have opened something in you that is asking for more, for structure, for a dedicated practice to anchor what is awakening, the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol is waiting for you. 7 guided nights, ancient techniques. A pathway specifically designed to carry you across the threshold your soul has been approaching for longer than this lifetime. The link is in the first pinned comment. It will not be there indefinitely, so if you feel called, follow that call now. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments. Something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.